What happens when people dare to touch what God Himself has set apart? Have you ever wondered why those who mocked you, betrayed you, or tried to destroy you suddenly found themselves stumbling, losing, and falling apart in ways no one could explain? Could it be that their attacks against you were never just against you, but against the very hand of God resting upon your life? Chosen ones, let this sink in. The Lord did not leave you uncovered. Every time they plotted against you, heaven was already writing their downfall. Every curse whispered against your name was reversed before it could even take root. While they thought they were strong enough to break you, God was proving to them that touching His anointed comes with a cost they could never afford. And you, God's chosen, are about to rise higher because of it. The same situations that were designed to bury you will become the very proof that you are untouchable, unstoppable, and divinely backed by a force greater than anything this world can unleash. Type 777 inches, the comments if you feel this truth resonating in your spirit right now, and let it be a public declaration that you know you are chosen. To everyone who has supported this channel, whether through your prayers, your presence, or your generous super thanks, we want you to know how deeply we appreciate you. You're not just watching, you are part of this movement, part of this chosen community where heaven's secrets are revealed. Because in the next moments, we're going to expose the mystery of what happens when they dare to lay a hand on you, the curse, the collapse, and the price they must pay. Stay with me, because the story you're about to hear will shift the way you see your enemies forever. God's chosen ones, they are cursed, the price they pay for touching you. The universe is not silent, it trembles with purpose, aligning every hidden law to balance the scales that were once tilted against you. Can you feel it in your spirit? Chosen one, the weight of every betrayal, every false word, every dagger of envy that pierced your back is now being measured by divine hands. The scripture proclaims with authority, "Do not be deceived, God is not mocked. For whatever one sows, that will he also reap." Galatians 6-7. These are not idle words carved into holy pages. They are the unshakable verdict of eternity, a sentence written before time began. And when the scales shift, they do not move gently, they crash like thunder across the heavens, shattering illusions and exposing truth. The enemies who thought their whispers would vanish into the air will soon discover that every sound was recorded in eternity's courtroom, waiting for this exact hour to resound. Karma, or rather divine justice, is not a mere concept whispered in philosophy. It is the living breath of heaven moving across the earth. As the prophet declared, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." Isaiah 54-17. Yet the pressing question remains, when opposition rises, why does it sometimes feel like you are standing alone in the fire? Why must the chosen endure the weight of hostility before heaven reveals its hand? The mystery lies in God's patience. He allows the weeds of wickedness to grow tall, only so that when judgment comes, the harvest of their downfall will be undeniable. Their arrogance blinds them, convincing them their schemes are invincible, while heaven quietly waits until the stage is set for their collapse. And in that moment, the very patience of God becomes the hammer of justice, falling swiftly and without hesitation. History itself has witnessed this pattern. Girolamo Savonarola, the fearless Dominican friar of Renaissance Florence, thundered warnings to leaders intoxicated by corruption and power. They dismissed him, mocked him, and scoffed at the fire in his sermons. But in the end, their wealth and schemes crumbled into chaos. Proof that no earthly throne can stand taller than the justice of God. The words of Deuteronomy ring true. For the Lord, your God, is a consuming fire, a jealous God. Deuteronomy 4:24. To touch what belongs to him, to wound those he has anointed, is to call flames upon oneself. What seemed like unshakable empires soon burned to dust, showing that God will never allow the unrighteous to triumph indefinitely. And so it will be with those who schemed against you. Their towers of pride will collapse beneath their own weight. But why does retribution strike with such intensity? Imagine the weight of every slanderous word, every cruel action, gathering momentum like a storm across the horizon. With the measure you use, it will be measured to you, and even more. Mark 4:24. The hostility aimed at you is not lost. It has been stored, amplified, and prepared for release. Do you sense how the very air is pregnant with justice, waiting for the appointed time to pour out consequences upon those who thought they could rise against God's chosen? They imagined their actions disappeared into shadows. But shadows only grow longer as the sun prepares to rise. And when that light breaks forth, nothing remains hidden. Their curses are exposed as chains they forged for themselves. Artists and musicians across centuries have echoed this eternal law. In Mozart's haunting Requiem, the Dies Irae thunders with chilling majesty, the day of wrath when all accounts are settled and no soul can hide. That chorus, rising and falling like the roar of judgment, is not just music, it is prophecy in melody. Is it not striking that the human spirit, even centuries ago, knew that the scales of justice must one day crash down? In that sound we hear the same verdict. Those who touched what was holy will not escape the hand of God. Each note becomes a reminder that no cruelty, nor injustice, no betrayal escapes the orchestra of heaven, where justice is the final symphony. And just like the music, justice may begin quietly, but it always ends in a crescendo that no enemy can silence. The psalmist's voice reassures your heart amid these storms. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. This does not mean passivity. It means confidence in the one who orchestrates both history and destiny. While enemies gather and plot, heaven sits enthroned, already scripting their collapse. And deep within you rises the question, if God is for me, who can possibly be against me? The answer resounds, no one. For the battle is not yours, but the Lord's. And when the Lord fights, the outcome is never uncertain, never delayed, never defeated. Your silence becomes your weapon. Your stillness becomes your shield. For God himself takes the field on your behalf. And let us not forget the words etched in Romans, "Vengeance is mine. I will repay," says the Lord. Romans 12:19. This is not permission for bitterness, but a call to release vengeance into divine hands. To hold your peace is to allow heaven to roar. To step back is to allow God to step forward. And when he moves, the collapse of your adversaries is not partial, it is complete, multiplied, and undeniable. Their laughter will turn to silence. Their plans will turn to ashes, and their arrogance will turn to shame. When God repays, he repays in ways no mortal mind could design, turning the very weapons of the wicked into instruments of their downfall. Chosen one, you must understand this truth. The universe is not simply watching, it is acting. Invisible forces are aligning, frequencies are shifting, and the verdict is tilting in your favor. You are not weak. Though they painted you as fragile, you are not forgotten. Though they tried to erase you, you are enveloped in a power far greater than malice, wrapped in laws stronger than human manipulation. Every curse hurled at you is a boomerang circling back, not in whispers, but in thunder 30-fold, 70-fold, 100-fold. And when the dust clears, your enemies will wonder how you stood so tall, yet the answer will be simple. You were carried by the hand of God. So rise now. Lift your head high, and know this: the curse is not yours. It belongs to those who dared touch you. Heaven has already signed the decree. The outcome has already been written in fire. And when the dust clears, you will not be standing in ashes, but in glory. Stand tall, chosen one, for this is the hour when heaven reveals who you truly are. And when you rise, your story becomes not just your own, but a testimony that shakes nations and silences every tongue that dared doubt your calling. Focus, chosen one, focus, for this is not just survival, it is ascension. Your life is not random wandering, it is an extraordinary spiritual journey where every step resounds in eternity. You are armed now with insights carved from fire, with a perception sharpened by truth, and that alone makes you different. Scripture declares, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden." Matthew 5:14. Yet when you shine, have you noticed how shadows gather to suffocate your flame? Why does the darkness always feel threatened by your glow? It is because you carry a divine purpose, perfectly placed to accomplish what mediocrity cannot touch. And though the pressure feels overwhelming, remember, light has never bowed to darkness. It exposes it, reshapes it, and triumphs every time. The very fact that you are opposed is evidence of how powerful your presence truly is. The temptation to retaliate will knock on your door, but retaliation belongs to the weak. Do not repay anyone evil for evil if it is possible, as far as it depends on you. Live at peace with everyone. Romans 12:17-18. Negative forces aim to drag you down into their mud, using others as pawns to blur your vision. But what is vision if not the lens of destiny itself? If the enemy clouds your sight, he clouds your mission. And yet, have you ever asked yourself, why do they try so hard to distract you? Because deep down they know your focus is lethal to their schemes. They understand that one chosen soul, fixed on God's call, can dismantle entire networks of lies. Your refusal to descend to their level disarms them, for they thrive only when you engage in their chaos. Stay fixed on the prize. Just as Paul wrote, "I press on toward the goal, to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." Philippians 3:14. Every step you take is a declaration of defiance against darkness. No storm of negativity can halt your momentum if your eyes remain locked on your calling. Think of the eagle, soaring above the storm, using the very winds of chaos to rise higher. Does that not reflect your path where opposition becomes the wind beneath your wings? But then, the deeper question stirs. Are you willing to use resistance as fuel, or will you let it break you? Each hardship you face is secretly building spiritual altitude. The very turbulence that rattles others becomes your platform to rise beyond reach, where only chosen ones can soar. Every challenge is not random cruelty, but a chisel shaping the statue of your soul. Each setback becomes the sculptor's strike, refining you into a masterpiece. Scripture whispers, "The testing of your faith produces perseverance." Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete. James 1-3-4. When you look back, can you not see how pain carved wisdom into your spirit? Can you not see how closed doors prepared you for open gates? These trials are not the evidence of God's absence, but His fingerprints, pressing you toward resilience and unshakable peace. Your scars are no longer signs of defeat, they are signatures of survival. Proof that God Himself trained you in the fire for victories yet to come. Nature itself preaches this truth. The pearl inside an oyster forms only because of irritation and struggle. Without the wound, there is no treasure. In the same way, your wounds are not disfigurements, but hidden incubators of glory. And just as a river carves valleys through rock, so too does persistence carve greatness through your being. Does this not explain why chosen ones are pressed harder than most? For only under immense pressure does coal transform into diamond. And diamonds are not just precious, they are unbreakable. Your pain has not weakened you, it has crystallized your strength into something eternal, something radiant, something impossible to shatter. History also gives its warnings. Napoleon Bonaparte, once hailed as unstoppable, grasped for control of Europe with iron fists. But in his arrogance, he overreached, leading his armies into the frozen wilderness of Russia. The very snow and ice became his downfall, scattering his empire into ruins. Like him, those who stand against you will find their pride becoming their own executioner. As Proverbs declares, pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. Those who plot against you are unknowingly marching toward their own ruin, blind to the traps they have set for themselves. History remembers not only Napoleon's rise, but his catastrophic fall, a sobering reminder that arrogance is the deadliest enemy of all. So, when life hurls obstacles like stones in your path, see them not as stumbling blocks, but stepping stones. With each test passed, your character sharpens. With each trial endured, your mission clarifies. Remember, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. John 16:33. Trouble is inevitable, but so is your victory. The question is no longer whether challenges will come, it is how you will emerge from them, broken or unbreakable. And as you rise again and again, you prove to the world that chosen ones do not collapse, they transform. What tried to bury you only planted you deeper in the soil of destiny, where your roots grow unshakable. Rise, chosen one. The world may drag, but heaven is pulling. You are not here to blend in, you are here to lead, to break limits, to accomplish wonders that will echo for generations. No force, no scheme, no negativity can stop a destiny ordained by God. Lift your head, plant your feet, and march forward with fire in your spirit. For this is the hour when your mission cannot be denied. Stand now, for your story is the answer to the prayers of many, and your victory will not be hidden, it will be shouted across eternity. And when you stand, if you do not stand alone, you stand with the armies of heaven behind you, with the voice of God roaring through every step. You are called to live brightly and with intention, and that light will not pass unnoticed. Have you felt how a clear, steady glow draws attention? Not always the quiet kind. The very positivity you cultivate becomes a beacon, attracting both seekers and those skulking in shadow. Scripture warns that the struggle is real, for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness. Ephesians 6:12. What appears as ordinary opposition, gossip at work, cold shoulders among friends. Tension at the dinner table often masks a deeper misalignment. People who are out of sync with your frequency try to dampen your signal. Why do they react so strongly when you simply choose to shine? Because your clarity exposes their fissures. Your progress destabilizes the shaky scaffolding of their own compromises. Do not mistake these attacks for failure. Rather read them as seismic reports proving that change is occurring. The barrage from every side can be read like a seismograph. Spikes mean movement beneath the surface. When I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Psalm 23:4. In other words, divine protection is not an empty promise, but an operative architecture, an unseen cantilever bearing the weight of hostility, so you need not collapse. Those who sling the label Jezebel spirit or other names do so because they must name the disturbance. Naming is an attempt to contain what their paradigms cannot explain. Have you noticed how the most disruptive reactions come from places you expected sanctuary? That is the precise indicator that your ascent is unsettling established patterns. The truth is, strategic withdrawal can be the most courageous act of fidelity to your calling. Leaving a dead-end job or a toxic relationship is not defeat. It is an act of structural engineering for your life, removing load-bearing walls that no longer support your intended design. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17 is not simply comfort, it is an operational law of spiritual physics. Attacks may be launched, but their trajectory does not determine the outcome. How will you steward your energy when assaults come in waves? Will you scatter your force or consolidate it into a focused beam? Remember that frequency matters. Your internal resonance determines which external currents will amplify you and which will attenuate into noise. Let me share one small life. Anna, a public school teacher, a woman who organizes little lives and mornings, found herself the target of workplace envy when students praised her quiet discipline. She said, "People tried to belittle what I do, but I learned to hum at my own pace. The noise fell away." Her simple strategy, sustaining inner rhythm, became a study in applied resilience. Psychological research would call it regulation of cognitive load. Spiritually, it is sanctified persistence. Does the persistence of your rhythm feel trivial at the moment? It is not. It is the slow architecture of destiny being erected. Beam by beam. Remember, every attack can refine rather than ruin. Trials act like a resonant tuner for your conviction. Worn edges are sanded away. Illusions are stripped, and what remains can hold greater weight. The testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1-3. When the world seems intent on dragging you down, that downward pull is actually evidence your trajectory is upward. Who but the future maker would be so intent on stopping a soul in motion? The response is not to wrestle in their arena, but to calibrate your internal systems, adjusting frequency, reducing friction, increasing coherence until their tactics fall out of phase with you and self-cancel. You are wrapped in protection that acts like a field, invisible, measurable by effect, and impenetrable to sustained assault. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Psalm 91-4. Live with the discipline of one who understands structural sovereignty. Exit what collapses your hope. Hold the line where your gifts can flourish. How will you architect the next decade of your life so that your mission is both defended and deployed? Decide to clear the clutter, to sever the toxic ties, to reorient around the mission that called you out of mere survival. Rise up now, this is no rehearsal. The onslaught you face is evidence of progress. The opposition, your signal that systems recalibrate around you. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. Choose removal over retaliation, calibration over chaos, covenant over distraction. Stand, plant your feet, reclaim the territory of your destiny with quiet ferocity. This is the hour to step fully into what you were made for and to walk, unshakable, into the work that will define your name. The stage for your life and dreams is not random, it is divinely set. And every spotlight reveals who truly belongs in your story. Have you noticed how difficult it feels when the values you live by clash with the actions of those you once trusted? When the mask slips and you realize that not all who smiled were truly for you. The pain is sharp, yet necessary. Scripture reminds us, "By their fruits you will recognize them," Matthew 7:16. Could it be that God allows these revelations not to break you, but to protect you from alliances that would sabotage your destiny? These eye-opening moments strip illusions and give you the power to discern who deserves a seat at your table. And though the revelation stings, it is also sacred, for it removes the counterfeit so the authentic can enter. Every betrayal becomes a divine announcement that you are stepping into a higher chapter, where only the genuine can follow. Such revelations are not punishments, but merciful insights. Do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? Amos 3:3. You begin to see clearly that loyalty is not measured by words, but by alignment of spirit. The disappointment of realizing someone is not for you is bitter, yet it teaches you to sharpen your spiritual sight. Have you asked yourself why the betrayal of someone close hurts more than the attacks of strangers? It is because proximity multiplies impact, but also multiplies clarity. Once exposed, those misaligned energies lose their grip, and you step forward lighter, freer, and closer to truth. And in that freedom, you also reclaim your authority, because what once drained your strength now fuels your wisdom. The very rejection you faced becomes redirection, ushering you into spaces you never would have entered otherwise. In these moments, life teaches balance in its most unfiltered form. Everything eventually evens out. The scales always return to level. The Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all who wait for him. Isaiah 30:18. Those who wrong you are not escaping judgment. They are walking straight into the consequences of their own sowing. Do you ever wonder why it feels like their actions prosper for a time? It is only because the harvest takes time to ripen. But when it comes, it cannot be avoided. And so your focus must remain on keeping your spirit high. For bitterness is a prison, while forgiveness is a release valve that sets your soul free. Forgiveness is not the denial of pain, it is the declaration that pain no longer controls you. When you release those who harmed you, you make room for heaven's justice to operate fully on your behalf. Releasing negativity is not weakness, it is strategy. A sculptor must chisel away excess stone to reveal the masterpiece. In the same way, releasing what no longer serves you uncovers the radiance already within. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5-7. To cling to bitterness is to carry dead weight on a marathon meant for glory. Why let shadows drag on your journey when light is calling you forward? The moment you drop those chains, you will notice how swiftly uplifting experiences and divine connections flow into your life, filling the empty spaces with unexpected blessings. Have you ever noticed that once you release what drained you, God immediately sends what restores you? That exchange is heaven's promise that loss is never the end. but the beginning of something weightier in glory. Even artists and poets across time understood this purging of weight. In John Milton's Paradise Lost, he writes of the fallen spirit who sought to corrupt light, only to find himself chained by his own rebellion. This imagery echoes the same truth. Those who scheme against the chosen are eventually bound by their own darkness. And how fitting that Handel's Messiah rises with the triumphant line, "For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth," reminding us that your path is secured not by fragile alliances, but by eternal sovereignty. What art expressed in allegory and music centuries ago is still true in your life now. Your enemies may sing loudly in their moment of pride, but heaven's song always drowns them out. Their chorus fades into silence, while your destiny continues to crescendo. History also whispers through voices of the great. Mother Teresa, a woman of unshakable compassion, once said, "If you judge people, you have no time to love them." Her words cut through the fog of bitterness, reminding us that releasing offense not only lightens the heart, but clears space for divine love to flow. Have you realized how often your breakthrough came after you forgave, not after you fought? Forgiveness is not surrender. It is the declaration that your spirit refuses to be chained by another's poison. And as you release, you discover that love itself becomes your greatest defense. To love where hatred expects retaliation is to dismantle darkness from its very core. And in that moment, you do not merely survive, you rise to a level where no enemy can reach. The scriptures confirm again, "Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing." Isaiah 43:18-19. Each step away from toxic patterns sets the stage for new blessings. What burdens do you still carry that block the flow of this new thing? What rooms in your heart remain cluttered with memories that no longer serve your purpose? To move forward, you must embrace change with both hands, trusting that letting go of old weight creates space for God's fresh outpouring. And when you finally release the past, heaven rushes in with doors you never expected to open. Your future does not need the baggage of yesterday, it needs the strength you carry today. So rise, chosen one. Do not linger in disappointment, nor let betrayal anchor you in bitterness. The stage of your destiny is being cleared, the cast of your life rearranged, and heaven itself is preparing your spotlight. Release the past, reclaim your fire, and march forward. Stand tall, for what awaits you is not sorrow but fulfillment, not confusion but clarity, not loss but overflowing restoration. This is the hour to rise, to step into the role written for you before the foundations of the earth. And when you stand, you are not merely rising for yourself, you are rising for generations who will see your light and dare to believe in their own. Strengthening your spiritual resilience is not optional, it is your lifeline, your shield, and your sword. True joy and authenticity cannot flourish in shallow ground. They demand a heart trained to endure storms. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8:10. Have you noticed how peace settles upon you when you stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight? Trusting the shift from old to new brings a peace that cannot be stolen, a satisfaction that feels like drinking living water in a dry land. Yet why does it often seem that those nearest to you cannot grasp your transformation, while strangers step forward with encouragement? Could it be that God sometimes uses the unfamiliar to prove his faithfulness, showing that support flows not from familiarity, but from his design? Embracing change is never easy. It is a sacred tearing away. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Isaiah 43:18-19. Every goodbye you say to the old life creates room for God's yes in the new. Yet it is curious, why do the ones closest to you resist your growth the most? Perhaps your transformation exposes their stagnation, and your courage unmasks their complacency. Still, you must walk forward, because destiny demands it. Strangers may applaud, while family frowns, but your compass points heavenward, and though parting ways with the old feels like pruning, remember how the gardener cuts not to harm, but to prepare for greater fruit. There will always be individuals cloaked in shadows, their whispers coated in venom, hoping for your downfall. But Scripture reassures you. No weapon forged against you will prevail. Isaiah 54:17. What if their hostility is not really about you, but about the reflection of God's light you carry? Darkness cannot coexist with light. It reacts violently before it flees. Just as the owl hoots louder in the night when the dawn is near, so too do your enemies grow louder when your breakthrough is at the door. Do you feel the tension rise before every major victory? That is not coincidence, it is confirmation. History provides warnings through the failures of the proud. Take the example of Pharaoh of Egypt, whose hardened heart resisted Moses' call to let God's people go. His arrogance invited plagues upon his nation, and the Red Sea that parted for Israel became the grave for his army. His legacy is not his throne, but his fall. God opposes the proud but shows favor to the humble. James 4:6. So too with those who rise against you, their schemes will collapse. Not because you fought them, but because heaven itself intervened. Their end is already woven into the seeds they sowed in malice. When others attempt to pull you down, their real desire is to provoke you into losing composure. They want your reaction, not your silence. Yet you are stronger than that. Chosen one, because your spirit carries a greater mission. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans 12:21. To remain unmoved is not weakness, it is power. Do you realize how disarming it is to your enemies when you refuse to enter their battlefield? Their weapons grow dull. Their strategies collapse, because they are fueled only by your response. Your calm becomes your crown, and your restraint becomes your resistance. Nature itself confirms this truth. A mountain does not crumble because of passing winds, and a river does not stop its flow because stones try to block it. Instead, the river carves a deeper path and continues its journey. So too must you carve forward. Your faith is the current that no obstacle can resist. Each attempt to block you only refines your flow, shaping your path with greater power. Isn't it profound that the fiercest rivers create the most breathtaking valleys? Your trials are sculpting beauty you cannot yet see, but heaven already admires. So reason now, chosen one. Do not waste energy fearing whispers, nor bow to shadows that scatter in the light. The path is set, the calling is sealed, and your mission is unstoppable. You are stronger than provocation, greater than betrayal, and higher than the schemes around you. Stand firm, keep pressing, and hold the line of your faith, for what is ahead will not be stolen, and what God has decreed over your life will not return void. Stand tall, this is your hour to walk forward with fire, unbreakable and unshakable. The frustration of your enemies often betrays them. It exposes cracks they worked so hard to hide. The workplace, for many, feels like a battlefield, littered with jealousy and petty rivalry. Office politics swirl like invisible currents, and sabotage creeps in like shadows in the night. Yet, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. Do you realize how much power rests in silence that continues to excel? While others waste their energy plotting, heaven shields you from their arrows. Their schemes are not stopping you, they are accelerating the proof of your divine protection. What they build against you is nothing more than scaffolding destined to collapse under its own weight. The truth is, every effort to undermine you backfires with the force of divine resonance. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. The more they push, the louder the echo of heaven's justice returns. Does it not intrigue you that their very attempts to break you become the evidence of your resilience? Their hostility becomes a loudspeaker, announcing that you were strong enough to provoke such opposition. And in time, their jealousy transforms into their exposure, revealing flaws they tried to bury. You need not fight in their arena. Your progress alone is the verdict they cannot overturn. Confronting negativity effectively is not waging war. It is walking forward with an unshakable rhythm. In the science of physics, frequency always seeks resonance. Likewise, your consistency aligns with heaven's frequency, creating harmony that drowns out discord. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Proverbs 16:3. Have you noticed how staying faithful to your assignment pulls you out of their chaos? Your advancement is not built on the unstable bricks of their approval, but on the eternal foundation God Himself laid. Progress becomes your response, excellence your rebuttal, and success your undeniable testimony. And what happens when you choose to keep excelling? You discover destiny has its own gravitational pull. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delights in His way. Psalm 37:23. As you advance, new allies appear, people drawn to your fire, individuals with ambitions that match your wavelength. Why is it that the right doors open only when the wrong ones slam shut? It is because God filters out the counterfeit so the authentic can arrive. These allies carry keys to doors you never imagined. Their insights and opportunities propel you closer to the destiny mapped out before your birth. Still, the pain of being unnoticed cuts deep. In the quiet corners of the office, it feels as if your sacrifices vanish, as if no one sees the nights you stayed late or the times you carried burdens not your own. But the scripture whispers, your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Matthew 6:6. Do you believe that unseen labor is never wasted? Heaven records every detail, and what men overlook, God crowns. Recognition delayed is not recognition denied. It is stored for a moment when the unveiling will silence every critic. To bring this closer, let me share the story of Daniel Ruiz, a janitor from a small company. Day after day, he went unnoticed, cleaning halls and fixing what others ignored. Yet his unwavering discipline and kindness caught the attention of the CEO one late night, leading to a promotion into operations, a role no one thought possible. His story proves that resilience and faithfulness eventually break through walls of invisibility. Is your current obscurity preparing the stage for your revelation? Absolutely. It is the architecture of heaven, building a platform no man can dismantle. So rise, chosen one. Do not let whispers dictate your worth, nor sabotage your path. You are destined for greatness. Shielded by a power no office politics can corrupt. Your mission is greater than petty competition. and your spirit is stronger than the jealousy of men. Walk forward, build higher, and let your victories roar louder than their plots. This is your hour to rise, not by retaliation, but by revelation, not by their permission, but by God's appointment. Stand now, for your resilience is your crown, and your progress the proof of heaven's favor. You take on extra tasks to support your colleagues, always willing to carry what others lay down. Yet when your own moment of need arrives, silence answers back. Those who benefited from your strength vanish as if they were never there. Worse still, some seem to delight in placing obstacles in your way, hoping your spirit would bend. The righteous person may have many troubles, but the Lord delivers him from them all. Psalm 34-19. Have you felt that sting, that strange loneliness where help should have been, and yet, despite the weariness, you keep pressing forward? Because this narrow and rugged path is the very arena where your soul is forged into gold. This difficult journey is not punishment, it is training. It is the furnace that produces resilience, and the stage where your conviction shines brightest. For you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1-3. The dirty tricks, the slander, the negative energy hurled at you, they cannot cling to you. Because your spirit is armored with conviction, no malice can penetrate. Do you wonder why you must be the one to endure such attacks? It is because heaven entrusted you with strength others cannot carry. And when you rise from battles meant to break you, your very survival becomes a prophecy written in flesh and blood. So keep your chin lifted in these hard times. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1-9. Each challenge you face is not simply about surviving, it is about growing through what tried to bury you. Are you beginning to see that pain is no longer just an enemy but a teacher, that every scar marks not defeat but depth? The trials become stepping stones, pushing you closer to a future untouched by darkness. The more they resist you, the more they testify that light within you is real, unshakable, unstoppable. There is a higher plan unfolding, one far beyond the reach of resentment. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29-11. The schemes of those who envy you are minor ripples on an ocean destined to carry you forward. Why waste your breath chasing their whispers when destiny itself is roaring louder than their malice? Soon they will realize that in underestimating you, they underestimated the God who stands behind you. And when they fall into the very pits they dug for you, their regret will echo louder than their scorn. Artists, too, captured this truth. In Beethoven's Missa Solemnis, the haunting Agnus Dei rises with a trembling plea, Dona nobis pacem, grant us peace. It is the sound of a soul tested by battle, yet longing for divine strength to endure. Does that not mirror your own cry in the midnight hour? Peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of God in the storm. And your storm is shaping a music heaven itself conducts. In our own day, the British humanitarian Terry Waite, once taken hostage for years, reflected after his release, it is in captivity that one discovers whether faith is theory or reality. His testimony echoes your journey. What feels like confinement becomes the crucible where conviction is proved authentic. Do you realize that by refusing to bend under pressure, you declare your faith to be more than words? It becomes living architecture rising from the ruins. And so, chosen one, walk forward, Do not fear those who plot in the shadows. Their reach ends where God's plan begins. Their jealousy cannot dim your brightness, for your destiny burns with a flame they cannot extinguish. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. Your future is radiant, your path unshakable, and your resilience is a crown they cannot steal. Stand tall, for this is the moment when heaven unveils your true strength. Rise. Chosen one. The battle did not break you, it revealed you. You are walking in a realm of optimism and meaning that your enemies cannot even imagine, and this alone sets you apart. A breakthrough is not far off, it is closer than the breath in your lungs. For at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6-9. Have you noticed how the pressure seems to intensify just before something great is released into your life? It is not coincidence, it is heaven's pattern. Every hurdle before you is not designed to break you, but to prove the depth of your strength. And when you remain unshaken, you announce to both heaven and earth that your mission is bigger than the petty attacks of those who cannot carry the same weight. Every challenge is a lesson, a mirror reflecting the strength hidden inside you. Count it all joy when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1-2-3. What if each obstacle is not a punishment, but an invitation into greater clarity of purpose? Each clash deepens your understanding of why you were chosen, chiseling away everything that is not aligned with destiny. And as iron sharpens iron, the very resistance you face is sharpening your character. The storms do not reduce you, they refine you into a vessel capable of carrying greater authority. These trials enrich not only your professional path, but also your soul's growth. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. Romans 8:28. Can you see how each hardship is equipping you for something beyond the ordinary? Leadership is not built in comfort, it is forged in fire. Could it be that your setbacks are the rehearsal for the stage God is preparing for you? Personal growth is not separate from divine calling, it is the foundation upon which your higher assignments are laid. And when you transcend the everyday, you step into the extraordinary, carrying scars that speak louder than crowns. The truth is, those who undermine you cannot escape the fallout of their actions. Their seeds of sabotage are already sprouting their own harvest of regret. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. Proverbs 26-27. History remembers the downfall of Attila the Hun, a fierce conqueror whose hunger for domination blinded him to wisdom. His cruelty united his enemies, and his empire crumbled soon after his death. In the same way, those who rise against you in arrogance will discover that the very traps they built become their tombs. Do you realize how heaven turns the plans of the wicked into monuments of warning? God Himself is watching over you, guarding your steps. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore. Psalm 121-8. This journey was not chosen by accident. You were chosen for it. That is why unnecessary disputes must not distract you. Your focus is too valuable to waste on noise. In today's chaotic world, keeping your mindset aligned with faith is your greatest weapon. Do you feel how negativity tries to drain your energy, hoping you will throw in the towel? Yet your calling is too great to surrender, your spirit too fortified to collapse. Nature itself bears witness to this truth. The sunflower does not twist itself toward shadows, it follows the sun, no matter how many clouds pass between. Likewise, you are called to lift your face toward light, not toward the darkness of envy or doubt. Just as the sunflower thrives by turning daily to its source, you will thrive by turning to God's promises. refusing to let bitterness root in your soil. Your resilience becomes your sunlight, your focus, your growth, and in time, those who tried to block your bloom will wither in the very shade they created. Cerise. Chosen one, do not waste your fire on people who were never meant to carry your light. Your worth is not defined by their approval, nor your future limited by their envy. You were chosen, equipped, and set apart for this exact season. Keep pushing forward. Keep standing tall, and let your resilience roar louder than their schemes. The breakthrough is near. The mission is clear, and heaven itself has already decreed your victory. Stand now, not as a victim, but as a living testimony of unshakable faith. Those who fail to appreciate your worth are not your burden to carry, for God Himself has promised to deal with those who wrong you. Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Romans 12:19. By staying upbeat and pushing forward, you do more than resist. You create a natural separation from toxic people who can no longer walk at your frequency. Each morning becomes an opportunity to declare who you are, not through bitterness, but through clarity. Have you noticed how a single decision to guard your peace early in the day shifts the trajectory of everything that follows? When your mind is fortified at dawn, no shadow can reign over the rest of your hours. Start each day with clear intent, as if laying the cornerstone of a cathedral. Architects of old understood that the foundation determined the endurance of the entire structure. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. Psalm 127:1. Could it be that your daily intentions are the blueprint of your spiritual architecture? Shielding your thoughts is not denial, it is construction. You are setting up walls of resilience, arches of hope, and towers of unwavering faith. Every thought aligned with truth is another stone placed by divine hands. Yet how many times has your morning been hijacked by a distressing text, a sharp word, or a call designed to unsettle you before you begin? Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Philippians 4:6. Why allow voices that never built you to dictate the mood of your day when negativity enters at dawn? It plants seeds of unrest that grow like weeds by noon. But shutting down those sources immediately is an act of warfare. It is choosing to silence the static before it distorts your entire frequency. In the language of physics, resonance occurs when vibrations align at the same frequency. Your soul resonates with peace when you feed it the right energy. It disintegrates when forced into dissonance. Have you realized that your spirit, like a finely tuned instrument, cannot afford to vibrate with the chaos of others? You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. Isaiah 26:3. Protecting your peace is not selfishness, it is spiritual alignment. Cultivating positivity is not just a mindset, it is a strategy for survival. With every act of resilience, new avenues of growth and happiness unfold. A young woman named Eleanor, a cafe worker from Lisbon, shared that she began writing one gratitude note each morning before her shift. Within months, her perspective shifted so deeply that her customers noticed her radiant energy, and she was later offered a management role. Her story proves that small disciplines of positivity become doors to unexpected opportunities. Could it be that your consistent joy is the very key unlocking rooms you never dreamed of entering? Replace old anxieties with practices that nurture your soul walks, that let your spirit breathe. communities that uplift instead of drain, and activities that replenish your inner reservoir. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. Psalm 23:1-2. Have you experienced the renewal that comes from such sacred pauses? These sanctuaries of refreshment are not luxuries, they are necessities for warriors of light. They equip you to stand tall when the battle rages. And so, chosen one, rise. Refuse to let petty voices ruin your mornings or sabotage your destiny. Fortify your thoughts. Build your inner cathedral and let your life resonate with heaven's frequency. You were never called to bow to shadows, but to walk in brilliance. Keep moving. Keep rising. For your resilience is the lantern that lights every step forward. Stand now, for your value is undeniable, your calling unstoppable, and your guidance divine. Fully embracing this path does not simply mean stepping away from negativity, it means stepping into the fullness of your God-ordained potential. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. Have you noticed how your perseverance through storms becomes a beacon for others still trapped in their darkness? When you continue pressing forward, you are not just surviving, you are testifying that overcoming and thriving is possible. And in doing so, you become a living example, reminding weary souls that light is attainable. Every act of endurance echoes into the atmosphere, showing others that pain does not define them. Purpose does. You are not merely walking for yourself, you are carving out a trail for others to follow. And as you carve that trail, you fulfill an ancient calling, to be salt and light in a tasteless end-of-car, darkened world. Your ability to endure tough times is more than personal resilience. It is a public proclamation. Though he may stumble, he will not fall. For the Lord upholds him with his hand, Psalm 37:24. Every step you take in confidence announces to the watching world that defeat has no power over you. Do you see how your scars are no longer symbols of failure, but blueprints of wisdom etched into your life? Each trial turned, victory becomes a lighthouse for others battling storms of their own. And when you rise, when you carry more than yourself, you lift generations with your testimony. This is why your story has weight, because it becomes proof that faith is stronger than fire. Your resilience is the sermon that words alone could never preach. And every scar you carry is not just memory, it is a prophecy fulfilled, declaring that what once wounded you now empowers you to heal others. Setbacks do not define you, they refine you into vessels fit for glory. Yesterday may have ended in tears, but today begins with new mercy. Because of the Lord's great love we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Lamentations 3:22-23. Why let the pain of yesterday dictate the hope of today? Awakening with faith is like resetting the compass of your soul, pointing you again toward destiny. Each dawn is a divine reset button, reminding you that no failure has the authority to end your story. Every sunrise whispers that your life has not reached its climax, that the author of eternity is still writing, and your chapter of triumph is on its way. What feels like an ending to you may just be the prologue of heaven's greatest revelation in your life. And as the sun climbs, so does your calling, proving that no night lasts forever when God himself declares morning. It is true that many will not recognize your worth or perceive your hidden capabilities. Jesus himself experienced this rejection when he returned to his hometown, where they said, "Isn't this the carpenter's son?" Matthew 13:55-57. He was underestimated by those most familiar with him. yet it never diminished his divine mission. Have you wondered why it hurts most when those closest cannot see your true calling? It is because their blindness confirms your light was never meant to be confined to small places. Their disbelief is not your ceiling, it is your release. The very act of their dismissal is heaven's redirection, guiding you to platforms where your gifts will not only be seen, but celebrated. Their rejection is evidence that you were set apart for bigger stages and greater audiences. And when they walk away, it is not your loss, it is heaven's clearing, preparing you for the people who will honor the treasure God planted in you. Thankfully, you are never fighting alone. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. Psalm 34:7. Behind the curtain of your daily battles, heaven's armies are already at work, dismantling what was meant to harm you. Just as Elisha's servants' eyes were open to see the hills filled with horses and chariots of fire, 2 Kings 6:17, so too are unseen forces surrounding you. Does it not stir your heart to know that while others plot in secret, God is plotting your victory? Every unseen angel stands as a soldier for your survival. Every divine whisper, a shield for your soul. And though your enemies cannot see this protection, you carry the quiet confidence that no attack will ever prosper against you. Your very life is surrounded by a fortress not made by human hands. And when your enemies misinterpret your calm as weakness, they fail to realize you are shielded by an army that cannot be defeated. In modern times, the painter Marc Chagall once said, "Great art picks up where nature ends." His words echo your journey. Your faith picks up where human effort fails. By keeping peace amid underhanded tactics, you transform sabotage into stepping stones. And much like the chorus in Mozart's Great Mass in C minor, where voices rise from lament to triumphant harmony, your life is shifting from sorrow to symphony. Do you feel how heaven turns your trials into music, of your scars into instruments of praise? What once sounded like dissonance in your life is being orchestrated into a divine masterpiece. And like an unfinished canvas, God is still adding strokes of glory to what others once called brokenness. The harmony of your destiny will drown out every false note spoken against you. Your enemies may try to compose your downfall, but heaven is conducting your resurrection. So rise, chosen one. Keep your peace in a hostile workplace. Guard your spirit in the presence of betrayal, and know that your mission is greater than the schemes set against you. Everything aligned against you will scatter, but everything aligned with heaven will endure. Stand tall, for your resilience is your crown, your perseverance, your sword, and your faith, your shield. This is your time. Walk forward with authority, for nothing can halt the destiny already written in your favor. And when you rise not only for yourself, but for every soul who silently hopes they too can overcome. Your rising is their awakening. Your endurance is their evidence. Your faith is their fire. Life unfolds in its own divine rhythm, and not always in the way you expect. What looks like a catastrophe, a betrayal at work. Being fired because someone tricked you can actually become the very doorway to something greater. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 50:20. Have you realized that what feels like the end of the world may be the seed of your greatest beginning? Sometimes loss is not rejection, but redirection, steering you toward a purpose more aligned with your ultimate goals. Painful endings often carry in them the DNA of new opportunities. Staying hopeful in the midst of tough spots is not naive. It is the strategy of the chosen. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. 2 Corinthians 4:17. Challenges are not random interruptions, but pieces of a bigger picture. Threads woven into a tapestry you cannot yet see. Do you notice how fairness always rises in the long run? Like dawn after the longest night, what if today's injustice is tomorrow's testimony? Your role is not to lose yourself in bitterness, but to trust that heaven's scales always tilt back to justice. As you endure these difficulties, train your spirit to uncover light within the shadows. Rejoice always. Pray continually. Give thanks in all circumstances. 1 Thessalonians 5:16-18. Every hurdle has within it a hidden lesson, a disguised blessing, a stepping stone toward a higher level of clarity. Have you noticed how setbacks strip away illusions and reveal what you truly value? What seems like a cruel delay is often God's way of refining your vision. Just as a pearl forms under pressure inside the oyster, so too your calling is being shaped inside the resistance of these painful moments. It is easy to drown in negativity when storms rage. But optimism is not denial, it is defiance. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and he helps me. Psalm 28:7. Imagine a tree in winter, its branches bare, appearing lifeless to the untrained eye. Yet beneath the frozen surface, roots are deepening, preparing for a greater spring. Are you able to trust that your winter season is not death but preparation, just like that tree? Your hidden growth will burst forth in its appointed time, shocking those who thought your season was over. History gives us sobering reminders of those who acted with deceit and paid the price. Consider the story of Ananias and Sapphira in Acts 5. They schemed to deceive the apostles by lying about their offering, but their dishonesty cost them their lives. Their downfall became a warning to all that deception leads only to destruction. Does this not confirm that those who undermine you with tricks are writing their own downfall? Their actions will not chain your destiny, they will chain themselves. The call then is clear. Surround yourself with positive influences, with people who lift you rather than drain you. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Proverbs 27:17. Negative company poisons perspective. Supportive community fuels resilience. Have you noticed how quickly your energy shifts when you are among those who celebrate rather than compete with you? Use this time not only to guard your spirit, but also to reflect deeply on what you truly want. What is heaven pressing into your heart in this very season? Sometimes isolation is the womb of revelation, birthing clarity no crowd could ever give you. So rise, chosen one. Refuse to let the schemes of others define your worth or your future. Every lie spoken against you is dissolving under the fire of truth. You are being prepared for a life more suited to your calling, one where your light cannot be dimmed. Stand tall, keep your faith unshaken, and let your resilience turn hurdles into stepping stones. This is your moment to declare, I was not broken, I was built. Stand now, for heaven's justice is already in motion, and your destiny cannot be delayed. Every step you take toward your goals is not just movement but construction, like laying bricks in a cathedral whose design only heaven can fully see. This might be the perfect moment to pick up new skills or hobbies, each one functioning as an architectural beam that strengthens the framework of your destiny. Life's surprises, though often wrapped in chaos, carry hidden blueprints for growth. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. Romans 8:28. Can you sense how every disruption might be rearranging your foundation to make it stronger? Gratitude, then, is not a soft virtue, but a powerful frequency that resonates like harmonic waves in physics, amplifying joy and creating echoes of success you could not have engineered on your own. Being thankful transforms the way you interpret trials. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good, His love endures forever. Psalm 107:1. Each experience, whether delightful or bitter, becomes a hidden classroom where lessons are inscribed on the walls of your soul. When you learn to treasure those lessons, opportunities appear like doors opening in unexpected hallways. Have you ever noticed how what once felt like a setback now shines in hindsight as the very reason you were redirected? Treating obstacles as catalysts realigns your internal compass toward a more satisfying existence. Gratitude functions almost like cognitive reframing. In psychology, it rewires perception so that wounds become wisdom and resistance becomes refinement. This perspective requires courage. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. You must nurture supportive connections. Gather communities that strengthen you, and pursue interests that enrich your mind and spirit. Do you realize how quickly despair loses its grip when you are surrounded by people who remind you of your worth? I recall the story of Mateo, a humble shoemaker from Lisbon, who once said, "Gratitude is the only tool that multiplies joy when nothing else is left in your hands." His simple life testified that wealth is not measured in coins but in perspective. His words remain a reminder that appreciation unlocks new vision when circumstances feel limiting. Setbacks, then, are not punishments but signposts. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, Jeremiah 29:11. Have you asked yourself whether the very delay frustrating you is actually protection from a path that would have broken you? By choosing to rise above, you refuse to let bitterness become your teacher. It is essential not to lower yourself to the level of those who mock or sabotage. Your morale is your fortress, and keeping it high ensures that the arrows of jealousy cannot pierce you. This is where the language of physics returns. Negativity vibrates at a lower frequency, and when you remain elevated, you are untouchable. Resonance cannot occur between mismatched tones. Remain dedicated to your journey, trusting that each twist directs you closer to your appointed destiny. Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. 1 Peter 5-7. When times grow unbearable, release your worries into God's current, as though placing them into a river that carries them beyond your sight. Do you not feel how light your soul becomes when you let go? The flow of life, like the orchestration of a symphony, carries crescendos and pauses, battles and silences, yet each movement directs toward resolution. This is not randomness, it is divine architecture unfolding in real time. So rise, chosen one, keep your faith fierce, your gratitude unshaken, and your heart set on the horizon. Refuse to bow to the weight of betrayal or disappointment. Every storm has an expiry date, and your resilience is building a testimony no enemy can erase. Stand tall, for your story is not over. You are still in motion toward greatness. When life presents you with difficult situations, see them not as punishments, but as sacred invitations for a powerful comeback. Sometimes you may be tempted, as if offered a golden deal, to return to an environment that once discarded you without listening to your truth. Perhaps they now offer better terms, sweeter promises, or more appealing benefits. Yet pause in your spirit and ask, if they were so quick to dismiss you once, can such a foundation ever truly support your destiny? The book of Proverbs warns, as a dog returns to its vomit. So fools repeat their folly. Proverbs 26:11. Are you being invited back into a cycle that God already broke you free from? Every hurdle, every delay, every closed door is not chaos, it is choreography. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Psalm 37:23. What looks like rejection may be divine redirection, steering you toward your true calling. Do you feel how detours that once frustrated you have actually shaped your character? These challenges are not wasted. They are the tools by which heaven carves the vessel of your future. Like a sculptor chiseling marble, each blow refines your shape until the masterpiece is revealed. History provides a parallel. Florence Nightingale, known as the Lady with the Lamp, refused to bow to ridicule and resistance from powerful institutions. Many tried to silence her conviction, yet her perseverance birthed modern nursing. She once said, "I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuse." Could it be that your hardships are shaping you into a beacon for others, as hers did for generations? When difficulties arise, remember, they are not dead ends but signs that everything is falling into alignment. Joseph, sold by his brothers into slavery, endured betrayal, imprisonment, and false accusation. Yet in Genesis 50:20, he declared, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Does this not mirror the very trials you face, that the schemes against you are only paving the way for your greater impact? Let love be your compass, for love has a resonance that shatters darkness. Above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins. 1 Peter 4:8. Negativity will try to bait you into bitterness, but your refusal to engage is the victory. It is like refusing to strike flint against steel. You deny the spark that could ignite a fire of destruction. Instead, love lifts you above the pettiness of envy, gossip, and jealousy. But ask yourself, are you truly guarding your heart so that it remains a wellspring of light? Even the arts have long echoed this truth. In Handel's Messiah, the chorus proclaims, "For the Lord God omnipotent reigneth," reminding us that no scheme of man can override divine sovereignty. And in the words of the poet Rainer Maria Rilke, the only journey is the one within. Do you not feel how such echoes of eternity resound with your own struggles, showing you that endurance births transformation? Stand firm, chosen one. Lift your head to refuse the trap of smallness, and walk as if heaven itself marches behind you. Your path is not random, it is an ordained ascent. Rise now, and let your resilience become a testimony the world cannot deny. Rising above the chaos is not merely about avoiding the blows of life. It is about entering a higher atmosphere where negativity loses its grip on you. To master trials is to recognize that every storm carries a hidden current of wisdom. As James wrote, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." James 1-2-3. Can you see how each wound, each disappointment, has been secretly building your endurance, as if heaven were training you for greater battles ahead? Every experience, good or painful, is not random. It is a rung on the ladder of your evolution. Do you not realize that each step upward brings you closer to your divine assignment? Like the oak tree whose roots dig deeper with every storm, your faith is anchored by resistance. When setbacks attempt to suffocate you, God whispers, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12-9. Are you starting to grasp that your fragility is the very space where God's power ignites? Think of the natural world. The pearl is born only when the oyster is irritated by grit. Without the pressure of that grain of sand, there would be no beauty. Likewise, your hardships are the grit shaping your brilliance. We also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope. Romans 5-3-4. Isn't it astonishing that what once wounded you is becoming the very ornament that proves your worth? History also teaches through its villains. Nero, the infamous Roman emperor, reveled in cruelty, burning cities and persecuting the innocent. His tyranny promised dominance. But what was his end? Betrayed and abandoned, he died by his own hand, remembered as a symbol of corruption and downfall. The schemes of the wicked always implode under the weight of divine justice. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Galatians 6-7. Can you sense how those who plot against you are writing the script of their own ruin? Just like the phoenix, you are destined to rise from ashes. But this resurrection is no myth. It is the reality of those chosen by God. Job, who lost everything in one day, later testified, "The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part." Job 42-12. What feels like annihilation is only preparation for multiplication. Could it be that your greatest losses are only preludes to an overflow so vast it will silence every critic? Resilience, then, is not passive survival, it is active authorship. Every response to adversity is another line in the narrative of your life. Will you let it be a story of despair, or will it shine as a testament of triumph, faith, and relentless pursuit of divine joy? As the psalmist declared, "Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy." Psalm 126-5. Your tears are not wasted, they are sacred ink, writing the testimony of your destiny. So rise now. Chosen one, refuse to bow under the weight of bitterness. Transform every obstacle into a stepping stone, every betrayal into a banner of resilience. The fire that tried to consume you has become the very blaze that lights your path forward. Stand, for heaven itself is recording your ascent, and history will remember you not as one who fell, but as one who conquered. As you continue to carve your path forward, let your dreams serve as blazing torches against the suffocating shadows. Aspirations are not just wishes, they are divine compasses, pointing you toward the destiny heaven inscribed in your soul. "For I know the plans I have for you," declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29-11. When the winds of doubt rage and others attempt to smother your flame, will you allow their smoke to blur your vision? Or will you cling to the fire within that refuses to die out? Remaining true to yourself is not a sentimental phrase, it is a spiritual discipline, a sacred architecture of the soul. Imagine your values as the steel beams of a cathedral. Storms may rattle the stained glass windows, but the foundation stands unshaken. The name of the Lord is a fortified tower, the righteous run to it and are safe. Proverbs 18:10. Isn't it revealing that the very storms meant to dismantle you only test the resilience of your structure, proving that what is of God cannot collapse? To navigate these storms, you must allow your heartfelt desires to act like resonant frequencies in physics. vibrating with heaven's design. When you align your actions with the wavelength of divine truth, you create harmony that no discordant voice can destroy. Paul reminded us, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" Romans 8:31. But do you see how often it is not the enemy outside, but the enemy within fear, guilt, or self-doubt that seeks to break your rhythm? Sometimes, the proof of this truth arrives not in grand miracles but in everyday stories. In a quiet village in Argentina, a school janitor named Roberto once said, "A kind word is the only tool I have, but it has repaired more broken spirits than the broom in my hands ever could." His testimony reflects what Scripture already declared: pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Proverbs 16:24. Could it be that your seemingly small gestures, your smiles, your gentle words are the bricks with which God is secretly constructing fortresses of hope for others? The world underestimates the magnitude of kindness. Shakespeare, in The Merchant of Venice, wrote, "The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven. Your mercy, your patience, your kindness are not weaknesses, they are heaven's weapons." And what if the very battles you are fighting are designed not only to test your strength, but to magnify this mercy so that others might witness God through you? Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Matthew 5-7. When challenges arrive, they must not be seen as barricades, but as the scaffolding God erects for your ascension. Isn't it true that without the rough chiseling, the stone never becomes a masterpiece? We are hard-pressed on every side, but not crushed, perplexed, but not in despair. 2 Corinthians 4-8. The chisels of hardship may sting, but they refine you into a living testimony of divine endurance. So rise, chosen one. Step out of the fog of doubt. Silence the whispers of resentment, and claim the authority given to you from above. Your story is not ending in defeat, it is unfolding into triumph. Do not crawl when you are born to soar. Stand, for heaven calls your name, and history waits to be rewritten by your victory. Every obstacle you conquer becomes more than a private victory. It shines outward like a blazing lighthouse, guiding weary ships across stormy seas. Your triumphs carry ripples beyond your own life, breathing courage into others who watch from the shadows of their own despair. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. Could it be that your quiet resilience is the very sermon someone else desperately needed to see? When you rise, you prove that the valley of suffering is not the end, but the birthplace of renewal. These victories are not isolated, they are sacred bricks laid into the architecture of heaven's cathedral, where your endurance becomes both foundation and testimony. The testing of your faith produces perseverance, James 1-3. Isn't it powerful that what threatened to bury you has instead become scaffolding for your elevation? Just as rivers carve valleys through stone over centuries, your persistence carves destiny through adversity. The laws of physics remind us that pressure creates resonance. Your soul, tested under weight, now vibrates with divine frequency, harmonizing with the eternal. Yet, renewal cannot come through battle alone. Sacred pauses are vital. Meditation, reflection, or simply resting under the whispering branches of a tree are not luxuries, they are lifelines. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46-10. When you embrace stillness, you create a sanctuary inside, a chamber where heaven's voice can echo clearly. Have you noticed how, in silence, The chaos of others no longer dictates your heartbeat. Like the quiet interval between symphonic movements, these pauses recharge your strength for the next crescendo of destiny. A story from an ordinary soul illustrates this. In a small town in Poland, a baker named Aneta shared that kneading dough each dawn was her prayer. "The rhythm of my hands silences my fears," she confessed. Her bread was not just food, it became encouragement for neighbors struggling through economic hardship. Does this not echo the truth of, "Give us this day our daily bread"? Matthew 6:11. The smallest acts, born in solitude, can nourish entire communities. The natural world itself confirms this principle. The lotus, born from mud, blooms untouched on the water's surface. Its beauty is inseparable from its trials beneath. In the same way, your spirit rises unstained above the very filth that sought to drown it. Those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Isaiah 40-31. Are you willing to believe that your mud is the secret fertilizer of your miracle? History 2 warns of those who despised this path. King Belshazzar of Babylon mocked the sacred vessels of God's temple, exalting himself in arrogance. That very night, the kingdom was taken from him, fulfilling the words written on the wall, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin. His downfall teaches that no prideful scheme survives divine justice. Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. Does this not assure you that those who plot against your destiny are preparing their own collapse? Artists have captured this timeless truth. In Beethoven's Missa Solemnis, the Agnus Dei swells with cries of mercy rising through chaos, blending anguish with hope. In the same way, your life composes a sacred harmony where trials and victories intertwine, producing a melody heaven delights to hear. Your kindness, your smile, your patience, these are notes in a divine score that no enemy can silence. So now, chosen one, stands tall. Release the weight of yesterday's battles and embrace the sacred fire of today. The universe does not conspire against you, it conspires for you, echoing the decree of heaven. No bitterness can stain your garment. No jealousy can halt your ascent. Your story is not merely survival, it is prophecy fulfilled in flesh and blood. Rise now, for history awaits the sound of your footsteps, and the world waits to be lit by your flame. Chosen ones, as we bring this message to its close, let us not forget the weight of the truth we have walked through together. Those who dared to rise against you did not simply oppose a person, they opposed the hand of God that rests upon you. Their curses, their plots, their whispers in the shadows have never truly been about you. They were rebellions against the divine order. And when anyone fights against divine order, they invite destruction upon their own heads. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. Isaiah 54-17. When they cursed you, they cursed themselves. When they mocked you, they sowed seeds of shame for their own harvest. When they tried to block your path, they unknowingly built the stage where God would display His glory through your breakthrough. Have you noticed how the very traps they set for you became the snares in which they themselves were caught? It is written, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them." Proverbs 26-27. And so, chosen ones, you must release bitterness, and walk in peace, knowing justice belongs to the Lord. Do you carry scars? Yes. Do you carry memories of betrayal? Yes. But those scars are now crowns, testifying that you survived what was meant to destroy you. Every tear that fell from your eyes has been stored in God's bottle, and He will not leave you empty-handed. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30:5. The truth remains unshakable. Those who touched you with malice will never walk away unscathed. Some may lose peace of mind, others may lose credibility, and still others may watch everything they built crumble like dust. Yet your life will shine brighter, because heaven does not abandon its choice. The Lord is faithful, and He will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. 2 Thessalonians 3:3. But what about you, the one who endured, the one who is still standing? What is your role now? Your role is to keep walking in alignment with your calling. Do not be distracted by their downfall. Do not let your heart gloat over their collapse. Instead, keep your eyes fixed on the prize, on the promise, on the destiny that is unfolding before you. You are called not just to survive curses, but to manifest blessings so great that they silence every lie ever spoken against you. This is why you must guard your spirit. Live in joy. Extend kindness. Speak life into others. And remember, your glow is not for yourself alone. It is for those who watch you from the shadows, hoping to find their own strength. Your victories are torches that ignite faith in others. You are living proof that God defends His chosen, that no curse can prosper against one wrapped in divine covering. And now, as we conclude, I want to speak directly to your heart. If this message has touched you, if you felt confirmation rising in your spirit, then let your agreement be known. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below, type 777 as your declaration that you walk under heaven's protection and cannot be cursed. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss a word prepared for your journey. And to those who have supported me through super thanks or simply by your presence here, I extend my deepest gratitude. Your engagement allows this message to reach further, to heal more lives, to awaken more chosen ones. But whether you have given or not, whether you have spoken or simply listened, know this: your presence here is not an accident. You are part of a family, a community of light bearers, a gathering of those who cannot be broken. You are not walking alone, and your story is not over. So go forth with courage. Stand tall, even when storms gather. Remember that every curse against you has already been broken. Every scheme against you has already collapsed. Every whisper against you has already been silenced in the courts of heaven. You are blessed. You are chosen. And you are unstoppable. May God cover you with peace that passes all understanding. May He surround you with favor like a shield. And may He cause His face to shine upon you. Until we meet again, continue to walk boldly in your calling. Continue to let your light shine. And never forget, their curse is their downfall, but your destiny is eternal. Stay blessed. Chosen ones, your victory is already written.